Welcome to Greer Overload. And here was a very interesting tweet from Jez Cordone. He works over at Windows Central. And the tweet was the next Xbox has a heavy window slant and will be a reference design for manufacturers making devices like the Asus ROG Ally, most likely. Like the Surface Pro 11 is a reference design for all AI PCs. Now, we've seen Microsoft go and cut studios already. We've seen that they probably have to do something different about how they approach Xbox after spending $69 billion and basically having to let studios go because they couldn't figure it out or they have a problem, right? Microsoft has a problem and they're trying to solve that problem. And Windows side of things, the Windows side of devices are all just basically, they have a minimum base spec, and then the manufacturers out there get to go and make a whole bunch of devices. Now, what does that mean really about this device? Now, I think Microsoft should take it maybe a step further and take, instead of, there's been other people that have said this as well. I think Moore's Law is Dead has said this as well as others. Is that what you do is you take the Xbox and you basically make it also a Windows PC. While that is a great thing as well, that's another option. Or you could also take the Windows PC and make it then into an Xbox. This should just be, kind of like a Switch or something and put it into a gaming mode. I'd actually like to see it go above and beyond that. Now, what I'd like to see is that you build a PC and they have the Xbox apps. They have the Xbox game bar. They have all these Xbox things in the Windows. Why not just have it the next deck of the Xbox mode, the Xbox, well, let's put it Xbox gaming experience. And you put it in there and it's just like the Xbox. You go through it, you can put it on a large screen and it's just your gaming box that you have access to all these games. And there's even was in one article that I was reading on this, is that you also have your Steam games and stuff on it. I think that would be really interesting, is that you have your Steam games and everything on here. Well, even let's say GOG games, you have all your oh, what's the other big game there? Big game engine, Epic Games store, and all those games on there. Whatever you want, they're all there, and get to play in this Xbox gaming experience, and you have basically everything turned down on Windows that is not needed for gaming, and you're just sitting there gaming. I think that would be the ideal scenario. And the benefit of this is that you get to run it, and it has it set up. People don't really have to tune their games. Let's say that you have current spec ranges, and Microsoft could go and do that and say, hey, here is the range, here's what the settings are going to be for this game, and it's going to have a good experience, based upon the specs of your PC. And if you're outside of those specs, it's on you, right? It's on you to tune it, and probably the people that are doing that are people like me that like to tinker and like to tune the game and not so much to just get in and play the game a lot of times. So you can have this access, and I think that would be a great option for Microsoft. It would be probably, okay, I switch back into Windows mode. This is my desktop PC. I can switch in between both. I get to play it. The GPU, the CPU, the memory, and storage all meet the specs that Microsoft wants. We go through, and we're off to the races. Now, on the other side of things, you could also have all these manufactured from the OEMs of saying, hey, this is what we're going to do. And as we go through this, you get to use these chips. Maybe they work with AMD already and make these custom SoCs, and you could even have a different stepping stone like you already do with the Xbox X and the Xbox X series. I know there's a series in there, but let's just keep it reasonable. Um, but you do something like that, and all of a sudden, AMD has a bigger swath to sell these custom AOCs too, which is a benefit for AMD. And I think that there is a lot of these companies then that can make different devices, make them look different, and you have your media PC. And it'd be great if that had the same setup as in you could boot into Windows and have the Xbox experience and Xbox gaming experience, and you have both of those modes. I think that would be a more logical step for Microsoft to do, to basically bring in all those games. Now, I get it. They're still trying to sell Game Pass, which I really don't know how they're going to achieve and get over the hump of the issues that Game Pass has in selling games. They spent $69 billion in Activision Blizzard King. They've bought what is it? Who owns Bethesda? And I'm blanking on it, but they bought Bethesda and all their games and everything there, all their IP, right? There was even a rumor out this week about them buying Steam. It's just a rumor at this point. I'll address it if it becomes more of something more concrete. I don't, just a quick side note on, I guess I'll address this part of it. I don't know if that would actually get approved in the United States here. I think that would probably be shot down considering that they're still trying to go after them for Activision Blizzard King, but that's here in the United States. But going on, I think that there is a huge option here that Microsoft can do. And Microsoft can then address this and maybe start working on a system to say, the OEMs are going to build all these unique systems. We're going to take on PlayStation in a little bit different way. And we're going to be a game studio with a minimum spec that we want all of the studios to run at. And that's going to be this base console. If you want a more powerful console, here it is. And that's going to be a different set standard. Let's say they get a little bit more creative and have 3 or whatever else. If somebody wants to go above and beyond and create a crazy one, RG, they do something like that. But I think that what Microsoft can do then is kind of focus on getting their games together, right? They just work on what the SoCs they want, what the spec it is with AMD. AMD then provides that, and then that goes off to AMD then can go and sell that to whoever wants to make these Xbox devices. And Xbox hopefully can get in order and start figuring out their issues with Game Pass, their games, and getting, a cadence here so everything they bought, gamers can actually play games that we want to play instead of seeing all of our studios canceled. Um, but and then on the other side, you have this whole experience, and you're working with your Windows PC that you already have that maybe fits the requirements, and you're off to the races in that Xbox gaming experience. Hopefully that you get a few more frames per second, get better performance, and that would be the goal, because a lot of this stuff here, especially with the newer APIs, DirectX and everything else, you have access to run closer to the hardware than what it has been before, and you got that on PC. But why don't we just work out maybe a few kinks that Windows needs to work out? I guess there's more than a few in Windows that needs to be worked out. But then we start getting that benefit here to the people that are gaming on PCs and with Windows, Microsoft. You see that Steam is already going to the route of Linux, right? And there's been more and more avenues for Linux gaming. I think this is another where Microsoft can show, not just in gaming, but we can have where you get this experience that you're going to have, and enjoy it. And I hope that maybe that goes that way, um, that goes a way of creating a better experience for all gamers that are on PC or on the Xbox. But Microsoft has to change something up. Microsoft, I think that Xbox has a good enough name, but I think if you have the Xbox, you have so many Xbox things on Windows. Let's just see on my computer. Xbox One Smart Glass, Xbox accessories, Xbox. Let's open up the store and let's just search Xbox. I'm sure that this is a bad idea. Um, I guess they're going to come up with games, but they also have the controllers, the Game Pass on there, the accessories, the avatar editor. But why don't you have the next step, which is the Xbox gaming experiences? Put you in that Xbox mode, and that's where you're playing the games. And that I think would be the next step for Microsoft to do. And maybe they are working on something like that inside of Windows, inside of what they already have. Backwards compatibility, can you imagine all those games being brought? Not all of them might be keyboard or mouse. You could specify that. Some of them may be controller, but people will be willing to play with that. I mean, I use my controller on my desktop sometimes. It's just, I just want to get in and play a game, and that's, kind of, this differentiating thing between Xbox and Windows. You could just combine it and just have your experiences here. And if you're going to have OEMs build the Xbox anyways, why not have them, a gaming PC that features Xbox, right? A gaming PC, you can also run Office. I get it that Microsoft wants to sell more devices, they want to have more sales here, but we're in a time where right now where it's tighter incomes and everything else, and Microsoft should be conscious of that. But you could do something like that, and all of a sudden leap off into the next set of things that really kind of bring people in, because maybe instead of having just a Xbox experience device, Microsoft, of having a PC and a gaming device, what if it was a little bit different here, Microsoft, where they're buying that Xbox device that is their PC, but then they also want to maybe buy that handheld. And let's say somebody comes out with, RG Ally's already out. There's an MSI Claw. There's countless other ones out there. And now they got the handheld and the PC, and both are their gaming device, and they get to go back and forth, seamlessly with the exact same experience. Because Windows on that small screen is not really a great experience. We've all operated Windows on small screens. I think that they're, some of the interfaces that people have tried to develop, but really that Xbox interface is not that bad to put on these systems and just be off to the races. Microsoft has a lot of these pieces that's just like they've not connected them, connected in their head how the pieces should actually work. So I hope that you enjoyed this. Let me know what your thoughts are on what Microsoft should do upcoming to try to get the Xbox division back on track. And really, my focus is to get games out into gamers' hands so we can enjoy it and have, when we want to be entertained and go play a game, we can be entertained rather than searching for what the next game it is we have to play. So with that, thank you so much for listening and watching Gray Overload and helping this channel grow. I really do appreciate it. And until next time, God bless.